Hello, welcome to this video. I'm Anna Breeze, and today we're going to talk about how to become more effective as a vegan advocate or any type of advocacy that you might be doing in the world. So this video is more for the changemakers, spiritual empaths, vegans, people who want to make a difference really in the world. But also it's interesting for anyone who's on a spiritual consciousness path and wants to understand a bit more about the person. So the title of this video is called What is the Person? And this refers to really how we develop as human beings and become the adults that we become. And so we're going to be looking at, I kind of did a little diagram that I'm going to replicate on this board just now. So I'm just going to walk you through how the person is formed in society and what influences, what we are. It's really a self-inquiry about the person, and it should become a bit more evident as I talk about it. So first of all, we start off with, us. Here we are, sorry about my people drawing. And we're just asking, the question, who is me? So who is me? Who is it that we refer to as me? I mean, from the moment we're born and throughout our lives, we're influenced by so many different factors, but especially our parents and our schooling, and we're conditioned, we're programmed with all kinds of beliefs and what are considered society norms and expectations as well of how we're meant to function or be in this world. So I'm going to use the analogy of the cloud. A bit like when you go onto Google Cloud or Dropbox and you upload files from your phone. So we're going to use the cloud here, just as an analogy. So if you can assume that we all have a cloud, and I don't mean cloud as in negative, I just mean a sort of storage system. So it's like we have our own storage system where all the files and information, beliefs, so this includes like our beliefs, our opinions, our life experience, good and bad, and preferences. Just what different things that we like, and what occupation we end up doing as well. So this cloud is like our little Dropbox, our information storage that contains all these different elements that we consider or identify with. So we kind of become identified with our beliefs, our opinions, things that happen to us, our trauma. And these shape a lot about how we end up behaving or being in the world. And what happens is if we become too identified with these different elements, we can, become defensive because we've assumed that this is who we are. We've assumed that this is me. But who is me, really? So we want to know who is the authentic self, who is the intelligent one that is witnessing all of this. Because you wouldn't be able to have any of these things if there wasn't an awareness. And I guess part of the journey of the soul or the intelligence that we are is to expand in our consciousness. We're always assessing, all these different elements of ourselves. We're always looking. So we're always looking at the information contained in the cloud. And this is downloaded to us in every moment, really. It's like we have access to all of this. But we also have a fundamental access to something else that is often overlooked. And this is what I'll refer to as the I. So the I is really the intelligence that brought you here. This is the awareness, the consciousness that you are. And if you believe in the soul or the soul's journey, this is the one who is having these experiences and who is assessing and learning and growing and evolving and becoming more intelligent as we go on. This is why we say we gain wisdom as we age, because we're gaining more wisdom, hopefully, in most cases. We're gaining more wisdom as we're getting the feedback from all these experiences and learning to be able to discern what has true value, what has true meaning for ourselves as we move through life. And then we kind of start to have, we have relationships, obviously, with all these other me's. And we assume that all these other me's are separate to ourselves, because they all have, their own little clouds. So they all have their own storage spaces that contain a different set of beliefs, a different set of opinions, life experience, preferences, occupation, etc., to our me, or sense of self. But they also have access to this infinite intelligence. They also have access to the consciousness, to the awareness that is always able to observe what's in the cloud. But the problem that most of us experience, where the problem comes in, is that, or why there's wars and anger and fighting and things like that, is because we don't agree with the opinions of this one or that one, and so we end up clashing and fighting because we're being defensive about our own beliefs and opinions. We become so identified with our own cloud, or not so much our cloud, but our information, the information that we've got in storage. We become so identified with the contents, and that's all it is. It's information and content. And we become so identified with that, and all the other selves become identified with their individual clouds. And so you have a lot of rain, just to, reiterate the cloud analogy. So that it pours, it rains and it pours. So how do we overcome, how do we become true advocates of the change that we want to see in the world? How do we become, whether it's vegan advocacy or environmentalism, any other things that we want to do, spiritual leaders, influencers, bringing new ideas, bringing the new innovative systems that this earth actually requires at this point in time. How do we become creative and efficient? How do we become effective communicators? How do we become effective influencers and changemakers? So I'm just asking these questions. You can make your own minds up. So we have these clashes and exchanges with all the other people with their clouds. But you've got to remember as well that it's also very, very beautiful to connect with all the different clouds out there, all the different people that have different information that is valuable. And so we have the opportunity for incredible exchange of energy and information. And this is what we have today with the internet. We have access to information that we never had before, and we're learning at a faster pace. Consciousness is speeding up because of the World Wide Web, because we can connect with people very, very quickly. But we mustn't lose sight of this intelligence that is behind it all. Because once we become overly identified with the content and the information, defensiveness sets in, usually. So how do we become efficient advocates of any change that we want to see in the world? By recognizing that we're not solely this, that we are actually consciousness. So we can ask, who is seeing? Who is seeing this? Who is witnessing? Who is aware of this? And this goes for our emotions and, all the different negative, undermining mindset stuff that we can have about ourselves. So this is the value that I hope to bring to you today, is also being able to use this for your own individual healing and growth. Because the less you are identified with what's appearing in this cloud, this is not who you are. It's not who you are. But we think that it is. And this is where we think our person is. We think that this is what the person is, but it's not. It's a false concept, because the person doesn't really exist. Because how can we possibly be our beliefs, our opinions, our life experience? We can't be any of that. There has to be an intelligence present. There has to be a consciousness that is already there, that's already here, prior to any of this arising. So we get to witness this. And it's okay to have beliefs and opinions and feel deeply about different things. But when it comes to being an influencer or, an advocate for a specific cause that you care deeply about, I feel that understanding this will just give you a tool, will give you more power, to understand this, so that you're not going to approach, the other people that you want to, enlighten with a defensive attitude. And you don't even have to see it that way either, because once you see this, you see that all of what's going on in the world is an unfolding. It's an evolution. It's an evolutionary process of all, the parts. But all the parts belong from a oneness. All the parts are not separate. It's only that we've become identified as me, the person, and then all these other persons over there. But we are actually one. So when we ask this question, who is seeing all of this? We recognize that consciousness witnesses all of it. All of the ideas, all of the experiences, all of the beliefs, all of the opinions, we're witnessing it, we're watching it. Just like a movie, we're watching it. And then we can choose. Then we get to choose We get to choose to witness and not identify with the beliefs. Or we can even change the beliefs. We can choose empowering beliefs that actually have benefit. Or we can rest in awareness. But we have the choice to witness and choose empowering thoughts, even if we want to. Or we can rest as awareness itself. It doesn't mean that we don't still do what we're called to do, our occupation or our purpose. And actually, the more that we become in tune with this infinite, innate intelligence within us, through meditation, through prayer, through asking, through self-inquiry, we're actually given more information, but it seems to come from, it seems to have a different energy to it. And it feels more aligned, it feels more empowered, it feels more purposeful, rather than just being about me, and what I can get. We start to feel or focus on, what can I give? What can I give to this planet? This beautiful earth. What can I do for this? And what can I do for them? And what can I express that is going to make a difference? That is going to, have a positive effect in the world. And as we do our own inner healing and become less identified with our trauma, with our beliefs, with our opinions that have come from our parents, our ancestors, when we start to let that go and transform it by dissolving and surrendering it to the one infinite intelligence, we become in tune with our purpose and what we really want to do and how we want to show up. And so we can feel this, empowerment is a first stage. But even beyond the empowerment, there's just, intelligent life, acting through you. And you're now inspired to, whatever comes through you. It'll be a combination of your chemistry, your astrology, your ancestry, and your specific skills and talents and your passion. So you become more in tune with your skills and your talents and your passion, and you'll just feel a calling, to what you want to embrace. So I hope that's been helpful, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts on this. As I say, it's really just an inquiry, which I enjoy myself. And if you're interested, you can join my Facebook group, which is called Blissful New Earth. I'm also on Instagram. I'm posting a bit more frequently there as well, so you can connect with me there. Anna Breeze Newman over there. And I am available for sessions as well, supportive sessions for people that are interested in, this, I guess, and also who want to become more effective advocates for veganism, or just feel a calling, or people that want support in just doing their own inner healing. So if you look in the About section of this channel, you should find my details and how to contact me. And my website at the moment is in progress, but it should be back online soon, as annabreeze.com. So you can check back and have a look there. So all I want to say now is just thank you for being here with me today. I hope you found this interesting, and I'm signing off now and sending you lots of love and light. Bye.